All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecture writer, and historian. Join me Sunday, April 30th, 2023, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a free class session of my 12-week online course, Ancient Black Resistance Movements from the U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, 1800 to 1968. Okay, so this is an exciting 12-week online course that I teach. We look at history from 1800 to 1968 chronologically to look at the Haitian Revolution, uh, Louisiana Purchase of 1803, look at what leads up to the Civil War taking place. We look at slavery as well, the Reconstruction Era, 1865, 1877, Jim Crow era, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement. To understand what happened to us after slavery ended, what were the laws and policies put in place to bring us to where we are today, to understand where we need to go from here. Okay, we have the information right here in the thread of the broadcast. You can register for this free class session today, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also we have the information on the homepage of our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. So when you scroll down, you'll see the information for today's class. And we have just click right here to register for the free class session. You can register for the full 12-week online course. We do this normally Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Black resistance movements from the Haitian Revolution, U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, the Black Power Movement. Class is regularly $130. It's on sale $40. And even after the course is over with, you can go back and watch the entire class. Okay, so you don't lose access. The reason why this class is so important is we go through and analyze history chronologically. Now, in the aftermath of the insurrection that took place January 6, 2021 at the U.S. Capitol, many leading historians drew parallels between the violence that we saw that day, January 6, 2021, and the Reconstruction Era, 1865 to 1877, which is the period that happens right after the Civil War ends. Scholars say that studying the aftermath of the Civil War can help put into context many of the most important, most seminal events in the U.S. in recent years, from the brutal murder of George Floyd, May 25th, 2020 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to the voter suppression laws enacted after African-American voters played a big role in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being elected president and vice president in 2020. But despite the timeliness of the era, in today's climate, many students in American schools will not get a full education on Reconstruction until they go to college. Now, the majority of them probably won't go to college, one. Two, your understanding of politics is directly related to your understanding of history. Your understanding of politics is directly related to your understanding of history. So this is why this type of information is so important. Okay, politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. So when we go through and look at this history, then we'll see why the voter suppression laws are taking place, because there is a fear of a declining population of white people in this country, and there's a fear of a growing population of non-white people in this country. And just as we saw in the just as we saw during the Jim Crow era, when white supremacists were taking back control of the state legislatures, they're rewriting state constitutions, like the Mississippi State Constitution of 1890, where Solomon Saladin Calhoun, who was the white county judge who presided over the state constitution, the state convention, he said, "We came here to exclude the Negro. We came here to exclude the Negro." Okay, so there we saw a concerted effort from these former Confederate states, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, to rewrite their state constitutions, because African Americans we were voting in large numbers, and in many of these states, like Mississippi, we were the majority of the population. Florida in 1868, when they write their state constitution in 1868, they write into the Constitution a felony disenfranchisement law, so you lose your right to vote for life if you're convicted of a felony. And then at the same time, what they did was they expanded the number of crimes that were classified as felonies, and they were targeting African Americans because we made up 48% of the state population in 1868 in the state of Florida as a result of slavery, and they feared us voting in large numbers and taking control of state legislatures, having political power and passing laws that these former slave owners had to abide by. They said they did this to prevent a Negro legislature, to prevent a Negro legislature. So your understanding of history is directly related to your understanding of politics. Okay. So that's why this type of information is so important. This is the second class that I teach. The first one is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Okay. And that deals with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. And we look at about 50,000 years of history in that that class also. That's a 12-week online course that I teach as well. Okay. And to give you an example of not understanding history, not understanding any of this, and let me pull this up here. Let me try to pull this up quickly here. I want to find something. So we have the link here to register for today's class. You can register. It's a free online class session that I'm offering. You can register for it today. It's right in the thread of the broadcast. And also on the homepage of our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. Okay, so you can check that out there as well. Let me pull this up here. Okay, so I just want to show you something. This is what happens when you come here and don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay, and your understanding of history is directly related to your understanding of politics. So this dumbass right here, MAGA, okay, you ain't black Joe Biden. What this dumbass MAGA doesn't want to deal with policies. Let's deal with policies. Now, this is a document that your dumbass has never read before. Last updated February 27th, 2023. Okay. This deals with how the policies from the Biden-Harris administration are helping the African-American community. It's at least 26 pages. Okay. Go read this. The last updated February 27th, 2023. It was first updated October 2021. If you watch the African History Network show, you know we deal with this because I'm a political commentator, not just a historian. I'm also a political commentator. Fact sheet: the Biden-Harris administration advances equity and opportunity for Black Americans and communities across the country. Now, what a dumbass like MAGA can't tell you is what Republicans are doing, because people like that don't study politics. Republicans overwhelmingly are voting against the policies that are beneficial to African Americans and blocking those policies. So they go through and look at everything from the affordable health care, from expanding the Affordable Health Care Act to the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan to the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction Act. We look at things like the executive order that President Joe Biden did to forgive student loan debt. Now, you have Republicans who file lawsuits to block the student loan forgiveness. Okay, so it's going before the 6-3 conservative Supreme Court, lowering energy costs and creating economic opportunities through the Inflation Reduction Act. No Republicans voted for the Inflation Reduction Act, even though they ran on reducing inflation. Okay, none of them supported that. Okay. When we look at things like making critical investments in Black families and communities in the American Rescue Plan, no Republicans in the House or the Senate voted for the American Rescue Plan. Even though the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act did not pass in the Senate, it was blocked by Senator Tim Scott. I'm not sure why he he is not blamed for blocking the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. It passed in the House of Representatives by a vote of 220 to 212, March 3rd, 2021, and no Republicans voted for the bill. I'm not sure why people who say they want the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act are not saying the people who wrote the bill were Democrats. The only people who voted for it were Democrats, and it was Republicans who blocked the bill. Then May 25th, 2020, President Joe Biden, on the second year anniversary of the killing of George Floyd, does an executive order to put in place at the federal level some of the things that were in the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, because based upon the 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, the majority of control over policing is not at the federal level, it's at the state and local level. Okay, now this is what happens when your Simple Simon ass comes here and has no clue about what you're talking about, but you decide to talk anyway, MAGA. Okay, make America gag again. All right. So this is why we have to understand history, law, economics, and politics. History, law, economics, and politics. Okay, so you can deal with idiots like that. Now, this is probably somebody white who hates themselves, who jumps on threads like this, and they get exposed. Show how stupid they are. They get exposed. Then you have 74 million people, overwhelmingly white, who voted for Donald Trump because white supremacy is a powerful drug. And he still has a lot of supporters. Most of them are not wealthy. Most of them white, because white supremacy is a powerful drug. And they're voting against their own interests. You go and look at things like this. Ensuring Black homeowners get full value for their homes. Ensuring Black homeowners get full values for their homes. Investing in equitable workforce training. Okay. Extending a lifeline to struggling small businesses and expanding access to capital. Go through and read the whole thing. I've read through this a number of times, and I've read through the different versions of this because it keeps getting expanded, maybe about every 6 months or so. Protecting Black Americans' access to housing by combating housing discrimination. New actions to protect renters and promote rental affordability. Leveraging federal procurements to narrow the racial wealth gap for Black entrepreneurs and families. Now compare this to what Republicans are doing. Okay? It's not only understanding what someone can do for you, is also understanding how to block and stop what other people are trying to do to you. Advancing equitable employment outcomes and boosting wages for Black federal workers. Reversing decades of disinvestment through bipartisan infrastructure bill. 19 Republicans in the Senate and 14 in the House voted for it out of over 200 Republicans. Out of about 200 and close to 260 Republicans, only 19 in the Senate and 14 in the House represented for it. Voted for the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. Overwhelmingly, it was Republicans that voted against the bill. Assisting Black landowners in resolving title issues. Assisting Black landowners in resolving title issues. Dismantling barriers to accessing USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture programs and services. Okay, go through and read this. Lowering healthcare costs and improving health outcomes for Black communities. Now, you compare this to what Republicans are doing, how they are voting, and what they are proposing. Okay, this is what happens when you come here and you have absolutely no clue what you're talking about and you don't study policy. You listen to Simple Simon ass people on social media, these Black disinformation agents who do the same thing, who can't explain to you what I just explained to you. I'm not just a historian. I also study politics, and I'm a political commentator as well. So when you watch the African History Network show, you see me on Faraji Muhammad show, The Culture, you see me on Roland Martin Unfiltered. That's why I'm there, because I actually know what I'm talking about, because I do the research. Okay, look, I have to jump off of here and teach this class. Join us right now at our online school, the African History Network online school, and Black resistance movements from the Haitian Revolution, U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, 1800 to 1968. We're about to teach this class. Visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. Also, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. And we have the information on the homepage of our website as well, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. My radio show will be on live tonight, social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, the African History Network on Facebook, Michael Imhotep on YouTube, and we'll be on 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF right here in Detroit as well. So on the homepage of our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, we have the information for the radio show. You can download the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn radio app and search for the African History Network show and listen live as well. Okay. And we have our PayPal, Cash App information right here on the homepage of the website. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.